and some incredible imagery that we'll show you in just a moment of what the town of Canton looks tonight. Let's start on that note and bring in Evan Fisher, who is in Asheville, the closest to the epicenter where this devastation, this flooding was seen in countless places across the mountains, Evan.
Yeah, absolutely, James. This damage was widespread. Just about every community in the mountains and into the foothills saw swollen creeks and in many instances flooded roads, washed out bridges, and damage to homes and businesses. It was a very scary day across the region yesterday afternoon. As we got towards the mid to late afternoon hours, we saw the rain rates really pick up and go through the roof, and rivers swole and became unmanageable, and all these roads became suddenly impassable. Like you said, James, Haywood County, Canton, Clyde area, they were the hardest hit. That was truly the epicenter of this event, where nearly 10 inches of rain fell up on the mountain. And here you're looking at a photo from Canton, North Carolina. This is drone footage showing earlier, actually, I believe yesterday evening in Canton.
I think they were taken today in the aftermath. These are some of the first daylight photos, I believe.
Wow, that's incredible. The water was still that high. Yeah, I mean, you can see the water into buildings and businesses there in downtown Canton. Wow, that is an incredible shot right there. I hadn't even seen this one myself. So exactly, like you mentioned, James, the water all came rushing down off of the mountains to the west of Asheville into Canton and Clyde. That's what prompted the flash flood emergency and the evacuations in low-lying areas. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, we have 35 people still unaccounted for. We certainly hope that number plummets down to zero and everyone checks in and is found safe. But it's a concerning look 24 hours after the event wrapped up.
Yeah, the best case scenario is those 35 people sought higher grounds and just have yet to check in with family, friends, or officials. But that number is now up at this 9 o'clock hour from 30 earlier in the day. And so if you happen to leave town and have not yet checked in, they are looking to account for all of the residents here of the town of Canton. And we do thank the photographers at A Shot Above for allowing us to show you these pictures tonight, because pictures are unfortunately worth 1,000 words, and telling you that a river overflows banks is one thing, but to show you what that means for a town like Canton and other communities in Haywood County along the Pigeon River is absolutely breathtaking. And I think we saw that firsthand, Evan, with your viewing of some of these pictures for the first time.
We did, absolutely. There were multiple swiftwater rescues throughout Haywood and Buncombe County and down towards Transylvania as well. We are quite thankful to not have heard of any official fatalities yet, and we do hope that continues and that those 35 people show up safely.
We have been monitoring information from Haywood County, who are, as Evan mentioned, continuing to do the search and the rescue and the securing of their town tonight. And as soon as we get information from them on some verified ways that you at home can help these neighbors and others across Western North Carolina through donations and charities, we'll pass that along. Evan, you're in Asheville, and you traveled out yesterday. We looked at some of these pictures yesterday, but I was hoping for folks who maybe weren't with us last night, you can let people know what else you saw yesterday as some of the rivers, creeks, and streams, the countless of them across Western North Carolina, were overflowing their banks. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so I went out and drove around my hometown of Fairview, North Carolina, which is about 8 to 10 miles southeast of Asheville, down a little bit closer towards Chimney Rock, if you're familiar with the area. And I went out about mid-afternoon when the rainfall rates really went through the roof, and drove down towards Bat Cave and Chimney Rock, which is in the Hickory Nut Gorge, a very flood-prone area where water just funnels down through large crevices in the rocks, and it's more of a canyon than anything else. Went down and scoped out the Broad River, and there was widespread flooding on it. The main highway was actually closed halfway down the gorge, and I could not go any further. Water was lapping up into some homes right there along the main highway, Highway 74. Then I did circle back towards Fairview, my hometown, and by the time I got back, it was a totally different scene than when I left an hour and a half prior. When I left my home, I drove down roads that when I returned were fully submerged in 2 to 3 feet of water. The water had come roaring down off of the mountains and higher elevations. And truly, Cane Creek, our local main waterway, had swollen up to a degree that I have not seen in my 8 years of living here. There was water where I've never seen water before. 2 of the 3 access points to the valley in which I live were cut off by flooding. It was very scary for a while, watching the round after round of heavy rain come in, and knowing that so many neighbors and members of the community we're going to be dealing with the cleanup for days and weeks following.
Some additional pictures to share with folks tonight on this special edition of the Carolina Weather Group. This video shot by Austin Taylor in the city of Boone in Watauga County, where you can see water spilling into the streets and parking lots. This photo showing what looks to be a single car in a parking lot, now covered by water instead of pavement. Another vehicle with looks to be a pickup, water up to its bed. And you can see some of the rapid movement of a lot of this water, and that flash flooding in a nutshell. Quick moving water spilling into places where it's not supposed to be.